shout, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun the command of the masses, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun diary political, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah, yeah. This one not day off in mind, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah, yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we not talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah, yeah. My people make you shout, oh yeah, yeah. Mayegun don't.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwọn mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwọn mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Lórí YouTube,
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight again. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today.
Ó sì tún ṣe é wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary political.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́gọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Calm down, get bully test.
Àní Mayegun.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Dòdòdò.
Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. All right? And share the broadcast, please. Dun, dun, dun.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
27.5 trillion naira is Kolu's 2024 budget. When you take a dive into looking into it, you will realize that you see that your Shege Banza, the one that you have been kind of feeling the last 6 months, it's about to be official. Shege, Banza 2024.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí pa.
In a prayer you sabi, you better begin the prayer like kíkan kíkan.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní
If na japa you want to japa, you better begin to get serious with it.
Mayegun máa wí.
Just don't borrow money or sell your properties to japa. Amen.
ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé.
Motide. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Okay, this is Mayegun live. And happy new week to all of us. Okay, so if you have taken your time to read the caption of the broadcast, the description, okay, and you have also liked the broadcast, don't forget to share it. Now, on Mayegun's Diary Political tonight, as we always do, we're going to be taking them batch by batch. But there is something I want to remind you of, which I kind of love to, sort of the lens I love to use in seeing things. The trending topic on the side, apart from the shege of Tinubu and gang, is that of who founded Lagos. Those who removed history from our curriculum in Nigeria or even any part of Nigeria, they gave room to serious, versions of history. But there are some certain things that are more factual than the others. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And remember this, when you are talking about history, history is very harsh. And most of the people that are projected as heroes, our heroes past, you will discover that, they did some bad things just for them to survive their own era. That is why when you read history, okay, you don't try to become the prisoner of your history. You learn from history so that if time and nature bestow upon you to also leave something, it will be an improved version of what you learn from your own ancestors. A lot of people learn history or read history just to validate their sort of, personal weakness. And these are people who can easily go on endless tirade, abusing themselves, attacking themselves on who is more supreme or who is not. When it comes to ethnic conversation, a lot of Nigerians who read their history, it is either what they will learn from it is the revenge of what happened to their ancestors, or the supremacy, the triumph of their own ancestor over the other. And at the end of the day, it's just like it continue like a vicious circle. I love to read. I love reading history, okay? But when I read history, whether it is my own ancestors' history or the history of others, and all over the place, what I tend to look for is the lesson from what they did well or what they didn't do well. But I hope you will have the same, you will have the same sort of a composure too, because a lot of people don't even see it as anything wrong. They call it self-preservation. Meanwhile, it is like projecting their own weaknesses, their fear, hiding it behind ethnic supremacy. We are superior than you. We enslaved you. That kind of thing. Yeah, we are. Meanwhile, everyone is existing in a sort of a phase in a country where those identities are only existing just for that bragging, whatever it is, nothing else. None of it is really respected in the scheme of things as a country should be. When people cherish their own ethnic nationality so much that you forced over 200 ethnic nationalities together, people who speak over 500 languages without them agreeing to be together. Do you get what I mean now, right? So that's what that is left with, But when it comes to Nigeria, everybody is in the same basket of the victim of a rigged, rotten system that doesn't represent anyone. So when you read your history, I implore you to please learn from it. Pick a lesson, not a revenge, not a triumph that makes you feel so superior to the other, when in reality you are not. Do you get that? When you look at the Northerners, for example, there is this mental, psychological belief that in the scheme of things in Nigeria, as a Northerner, they are more advantageous. But it's not true. Sure you get. The reason why it is not true is because in the scheme of things, every part of Nigeria is marginalized by the supposed people who also came from the all part of Nigeria. So your tribe, your nationality, and the rest of them, they don't really matter in the scheme of things. And if you want them to, and that is why you have to watch Mayegun's Diary Political, things of value that you have to really know that, oh, we don't have that anymore. We used to be like this, but we don't anymore. Why? This is why. How do we get that back? By rejecting what they forced on you. So history, when you read it, things, whether in the recent past, in the ages past, the best you pick from it is going to be the lesson from it. What did they do wrong? What did they do right? How did they do it? And here you are today. What would you like to do different? Do you want to inherit enemies? Do you want to feel better than the others when in the real sense you are not? Anyway, I just thought I should give you that little TED talk, okay? Everybody will still take care of their own belief. That is what I've come to learn myself. A lot of people will try to think that they can really influence the mind of the people to what they want them to think. But from my own experience, it is when people want to let them, or when the people want that in and they allowed it in, is when you are able to influence their mind, their thoughts, and all of that. So without them wanting to, you can talk and shout from now till the end of the century. They will still do what they will do. And that is from my own experience. So, even though from my own experience too, I have had people who have been able to manage sort of their own thoughts. They've been able to use happenings around them, right, to make vital decisions that are not laced with emotional and every other, nonsense by all means. And I'm grateful too. I'm grateful for that, by the way, as they are. But mine is this. I prefer to look at actions than words. Because words are free. They're like hair. They are free. And there are people gifted with words. And among them, in fact, top of the list are the politicians. A lot of them are very good with words. And that is why they say politicians are all talk, no action. So if you really want to, if you are really interested in what is going on and how much they affect you, you should begin to look beyond just words and their actions. And by their actions, you can easily tell the vast contrast between what they are saying and what they are doing. And if you are living in such country, if you understand this danger, you are never going to be comfortable. You will speak out, you will push it, you will scream and all of that, even when their ignorant supporters continue to try to shut you down. But when you see the danger, not words, actions. That's what I do. And to my own, not so much surprise, I discovered that the criminals who are destroying Nigeria, dividing Nigerians, these guys actually come from every part of Nigeria, united in their actions against the rest of Nigeria. And Nigerians themselves are sort of divided according to their loyalty or sort of admirability or so of their own thief up there. Here you get. And that is why if you really, really, really want to understand, you are going to look beyond just words. You cannot say you are trying to lift people out of poverty and you are budgeting for 5 billion for education in the whole country. And at the same time, you are borrowing over 400 billion naira to rebuild and renovate houses of president, vice president, buy cars for the lawmakers, and the rest of that. To me, even if you are crying, that you are very sad. And God, I will be right back. I think something just popped up on my screen, and I'm going to need to deal with that just before we continue. Okay? Give me a sec.
I don't read social media anymore. They abuse the hell out of me. If I read it, I get high blood pressure. I get angry. I don't read it. So, if I want to hear anything, my children or any of my workers will tell me, this one say this one. If I'm tired, I say, please.
I don't know. There is this new setting on my broadcasting software. So it picks a voice and it picks sort of a signs, and it will just turn them to something like an emoji. Like, that moment I said, even if you are crying, don't let me do that again. When I said, even if you are crying, telling people that the state of education in Nigeria is so bad that you feel so sad, and you are so teary and crying, and people are like, oh, then it is time for you to make decision in fixing that, where you have to use your pen and your sense, Abi, and you decided to budget 5 billion naira for the whole country. You signed that in order to make education better. And same you signed over 400 billion to buy cars, renovate houses, and the rest of that. So you see, your tears won't really mean anything to me. Shouldn't mean anything to anybody. And that's why I said, if you pay attention to their actions, they say more than what is. And you can easily tell where this is headed. Before I go into your budget of a renewed shege, may I explain that to you a little bit before we begin to dig deeper, okay? You see, you remember Soludombu? Abi, somebody said it's Solufrodu, the former central bank governor that recapitalized banks in Nigeria so that they could meet the economic sort of a rebasement of Nigeria at the time. And afterward, he became governor of Anambra. The people of Anambra probably felt so lucky, like, yes, finally, somebody who actually understands economy and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, cut the long story short, when Soludombu became governor in Anambra, he was appointed by Bokuwari into his economic team. Now, his economic team of Bokuwari were those who were advising Bokuwari on Buharinomics. Remember, the one that, that bankrupted Nigeria. Anyway, some people came in defense of Soludombu because Soludombu later came out and said he's now he's now part of a team Tifnumbu. In defense of Tifnumbu, the Nigeria that Bokuwari ran, a total disaster. They are saying that after he's gone. Okay? Same thing with Eleyi of Ogun, the dubious Dapo. I'm coming back to that one. No. I have something to say, but more first stop by and hear Soludom defending Kolu. Please.
Kept printing money, literally. Because when you advance money that is backed by nothing, you just credit the federal government, but continue to credit the account of government with trillions. 1 trillion, people shouted, 2 trillion, 10 trillion, 15 trillion, 20 trillion. And we kept going. My dear friend Sheung, I did say it before, that this particular government inherited a dead economy. From a macroeconomic point of view, this government inherited a dead economy, standing almost a dead horse that was still standing, but people didn't know it was dead. Because you cannot pour drums of water on a rug and expect that the rug will not be wet. There is humongous challenges. And I think it is important that Nigerians understand this, and that it's not a tea party. Cardoso and the Minister of Finance, when I spoke with them, each one of them I spoke to on the appointment, I said, meaning have my congratulations and also my commiserations, because I know what faces them, and Nigerians need our support collectively, intellectually, and in whatever way that we can. But I want to believe that, we'll lock ourselves in a room for a day or two. We must be able to get through this. Nigeria, I'm an incurable optimist in the greatness of this country. That's why I offered. That's why I applied for this job. If I don't believe in the future, in the incredible, the future of this country, then I wouldn't be, taking myself through this, what I call the executive imprisonment, as it were. So we must all work together to get ourselves out of the trajectory that we, if I say avoidably put ourselves through to.
Well, how do we do this? Because, it sounds like deja vu sometimes, and those who said the Buhari government of 8 years set this country back 20 years. It was in this same studio that an economist showed me that. And they decry what has become a major impact of the economic policy of that government. But how can the Tinubu government restart this economy, make the Nigerian people smile, and perhaps soon?
That's a short question with a long answer, Sheung. And I think I responded to that already. I think the National Economic Council continue to give its advice. The federal government has got its economic team in place, and whoever has something to offer to the team must be welcome to offer them. And I did make a point that you get a couple of people in a room, lock them up for 2-3 days. I'm sure we should be able to have a very coherent, robust strategy to get ourselves out of this. We've been through these roads before. As I said, we've been through these routes, probably not in this kind.
Nuisance Lele.
You see, Nigerians be their mumu and their mugus. Here you get. Tinubu once said, if some of you will remember this.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back.
Nuisance Lele.
Agba nuisance nìyẹn. Person will get strategy when you were doing elections. Buhari gave him handover note. He didn't put economic team together to look at it and come around and announce to everybody and say, "Na genje den Gary give me oh." Now they are now asking all of you who have ideas, to go and supply your idea to them, to the economic team. They will lock themselves in a room. Did you hear Soludombu saying that even though he didn't mention a PIM except for Obaseki, they came out to say they are printing money. This country is gone. You remember that time when Obaseki said they are printing money and they are sending the money to the state as allocation. Nigeria newspaper were reporting state, federal, state, and local government shares 1.2 trillion naira. And they will just say the money came from the total tax collected. And then what else again? They will shall find one lie, two, three lies. Join them together. Breaking news. Federal, state, local government shares 1.4 trillion naira. Money from crude oil sales, taxes and revenue, VAT, and blah, 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 blah. Under Bokuwario, they were printing money and sharing the money. Money backed with nothing, just ordinary paper. No value, no nothing. Soludombu was one of the economic team of Bokuwari advising him. See, it's done again.
Cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not. Because of fuel.
My screen just froze there again because I was like, I'll deal with that anyway. So you have that. And now they are asking you, as you are watching this video, Tinubu has started printing his own money too. Yes. As he is borrowing, they are printing money. But if you hear that one now on Mayegun's Diary Politico, they will say it is fake news. So easy. It was fake news when we announced that Emefiole was printing money. Until Emefiole came out and said, if you want to fight me, come out and let us fight. Yes, we are printing money. It's our job to print money. Dubious Dapo of Ogun. They call him Emperor now. I told you I have something I want to say. You see, in Ogun State, somebody exposed Dubious Dapo as ex-convict in Florida, in America. As ex-convict, there was a mugshot of him. This guy now published that the DSS in Nigeria and the rest, because he's APC, a Bekegbe member himself. They didn't see that anyway. He was supposed to also be in jail as one of those fuel subsidy fraudsters that Goodluck Ebere Jolantan wanted to deal with at the time by removing subsidy, then going after all the oil thieves. Dubious Dapo's oil company was one of them. He has so much money. Here you get 18 oil and all of that. He's got so much money from those illegal. There is governor. As governor, if you see anything, Dubious Dapo can arrest you anytime. If you don't know him, look at him.
Governor. If the governor state, if the chief security officer state, will they arrest anybody?
That's my state. It doesn't have any much reasons to. They will arrest you. Your family members, even if the social media free this is the emperor, they will lock you up. They locked this guy up for over a year. Person will expose a criminal, became a criminal. The commissioner of police and the rest of them were charging him for cyber terrorism, cyber social. That's dubious. Now, in Ogun State, you have to behave yourself. Even Benga Dane, the former emperor, also collected from this guy. This is the kind of a criminal in charge, by the way. However, he was also on a channel television. He was one of those who are like, well, thanks to Oshiomole, Tinubu, and Bokwari, so they had no choice. They were one of those who were saying Bokwari was the best thing that happened to Nigeria and Nigerians after the invention of a sliced bread. But they don't throw Bokwari under the bus again. One of them. Listen to that. That was said. His own description is even funnier. Listen.
I was asking about the debt profile of the state. What are you doing about it? Those who believe that the state is highly indebted and it doesn't have any business for a state that grows over 100 billion in internally generated revenue.
I'm sure that you are aware of the recent release by a budget that showed Ogun State as the number one in most improved internally generated revenue by miles ahead of any other state. At the same time, we're also, I believe, maybe number 5 or number 7 on the list of most resilient states, and the few states that can actually indeed survive if peradventure suddenly there's no allocation from the federal government. From the very first day I assumed office as governor of the state, I've paid salaries every month on time. From the very month I assumed office, I've ensured that pensioners are also paid, and gratuities that have been owed have also been slowly and gradually they are being paid off. But more importantly, I've grown the economy of Ogun State to the point where today we are the fastest growing economy in Nigeria. We last year we were inching close to the 200 billion per annum mark. This year we'll certainly achieve that objective. Without a doubt, I'm sure that by the end of this year we'll be the number 2 in Nigeria, in this country, without a doubt. And this has been very intentional. It has not been an accident or by happenstance. So when you are talking about, the indebtedness of the states, you look at, what you look at and want to talk about is what is their ability to service, whatever debt they have. If we're indebted and yet, financial institutions continue to avail us with required funding, they must be doing that because they see the potential we have and that we've had to service our loans.
These too shall pass, and we will all be better for it. When you were talking about the difficult times under the Bola Tinubu government, there are a lot of Nigerians who are wondering, what is Governor Abiodun talking about? Things have become more difficult by...
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has been very bold and audacious. They've taken the bull by the horn. They've done what no other government has done in the history of Nigeria. They've had to deregulate to save Nigerians. And they've deregulated at a time when the pricing of petroleum was at its largest margin. But knowing fully well that they either did that then or the country would be brought to its knees. Like they say, there can't be any gain without pain. He has inherited an administration that was almost comatose. But, our president, besides being a former governor and a senator, he is also an accountant. So he's someone who is very spot on. And all hands are on deck to turn this economy around. We are very hopeful. And we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So
Nuisance Lele.
Ladies and gentlemen, they said Tinubu took a bold step on your behalf, and you are already seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Ogun State, happened to be one of the supposed industrialized states in Nigeria, okay, at the same time with the highest unemployment rate in Nigeria. Isn't that ironical? Then when it comes to borrowing, when Bukwari was like going berserk with borrowing, it was not Bukwari alone that borrowed over 85 trillion. No. Are you with me? It's not only Bukwari, all these states collected, including Ogun State. And since what these guys knows very well, right, is to tax you and take from you, okay? All they have to do is to increase what they take from you until they kind of, until when you get to a stage that you can no longer give anymore. But criminals in charge and all of that. So an administration that is almost in comatose. What's he talking about? He's talking about Bukwari. The best thing that happened to all of now, after sliced bread. What's he talking about? Well, they have the amogus. So in 2024, that is going to be tagged Renewed Shege 2024. As most of you, I remember that time when this issue of a subsidy removal first started. And things started changing. Prices started changing. The Lagos Abobakus, I'm talking about the bad starts, they were secretly hoping that there is something that Ashiwaju Awon Gbewiri must have in stock for them. They didn't know that it is more pankere, bulala, iya that he has in stock for them. So they were saying everybody should be patient. They are working on it. People will not have a clue. They don't get any idea what's going on, right? They were reassuring themselves that Kolu will not intentionally come make them suffer like this. Kolu, I beg, don't let people share us now. I remember that those early days. So I'm talking about June, July. Palliative was coming. Subsidy palliative until majority of you became so hungry. For those who remain alive, you don't even get any voice anymore. Thanks to those who probably sustained you to this time. Here you get. So now they are going to tell you, wait for the budget. Inside that budget, Ashiwaju has said, I'll tell you what's in the inside them a little bit, make you know. Number one, they initially said they wanted to spend 26 trillion. Out of this 26 trillion, open your ears. So, Shebi subsidy is gone. Abi, Shebi subsidy is gone. Now, they wanted to spend 26 trillion. Later, they changed it to 27.5 trillion naira. You can easily say plus or minus $27 billion. That's how much they want to spend. On what? When you begin to, I want to give it like a day after he make that presentation, then I'll come back here and skeleton for you. But may I give you the idea? You see Bukwari's budget, usually if you go and check all Bukwari's budget, he never provided anywhere for subsidy. Go and check. But under Bukwari alone, Nigeria spent over 22 trillion naira on subsidy. 4 trillion in a year. Abba. So now, to this of a Kolu, the largest portion, I use percentage, because now that one go pay. You see, normally when you have budget for a country that is in economic trouble, no job, even those who get job, they cannot feed well. Sure you get, Now, to help them, the budgeting them means you have plan for every sector. But because the criminal government in Nigeria is not about you, the people, it is cash and carry. When they want to, when they are planning anything, they are not planning them to really serve you per se. They are planning them based on how much of that they will use to siphon the public fund. And they can continue to do the same project for the next 8 years. All it takes is just to put it in the budget. That's it. And divert resources towards it. So 27.5 trillion naira, 74% of that is going into what is called recurrent expenditures. What are the recurrent expenditures? Recurrent expenditures are like salaries of politicians as well as salaries of workers. Procurements in different ministries and the rest of them recurrent. They don't bring anything back. They are like consumable things that are going to be taken and they will be gone. They will have nothing. Pretty much like paying for service. All of the trips that all of them are going to go to next year, they will put that in that budget as part of the recurrent. The military spending, which has now become an industry. The more they spend on Nigeria defense, the more baskets it becomes for the terrorists who are trading in Nigeria. I used to read about the budget for Nigerian defense. 800 billion. 800 billion. Now you'll be seeing things like 7 trillion for Nigeria defense, only for them to acquire some of these equipments in order to further decimate the citizens themselves, like genocide, or open the door for the terrorists who are going to come and cut the weapons away. And you'll be wondering, how did all these ragtag criminals called terrorists have been able to survive in Nigeria that spends over 4-5 trillion naira on defense every year? Because they never really spend 4-5 trillion. Like I said, they are just mere conduit pipe mostly. So that's that. And yeah, paying for this and that, and the rest is for completion of so road, and completion of that road, and completion of this other that and that. If you go and check all of the former budget of Bokwari, you will see all similar budgets there. Similar projects there. Okay? And then you realize that they just have to change the figures. Is this not the same project that they said Bokwari? Somebody was doing since 2002. Say, we need to complete it. They were not going to complete it. The refineries, the Ajaokuta, all of that, they are conduit pipes. They will continue to reoccur in order to steal resources that are so scarce. And then the other real sectors will continue to suffer, like education, healthcare, and others like that. So yeah, 28% is going to be for capital projects, capital expenditure. Here you get, like they want to renovate this or they want to do that, or blah, blah, blah. Here you get. So which simply means you are not going to be out of the wood. At all, you are not. Okay. Let's now say, okay, wastage. That's wastage now. Yeah, of course it's wastage, of course. It's a tradition. All it has to do is for them to make some amendment here and there. And then by the time it gets to the National Assembly, those ones are still going to pad it. When those ones will release the final figure, they may tell you that Tinubu will need 28 trillion. Add another 500 billion. They may even come back and say it needs 28.5 trillion. Add extra 1 trillion. That's what they do. You know, the saddest part is that Nigeria does not have the money. You know, you can say if you have money, so much money, that your economy is so good, and you just love wastage. You know, that people will be like, like Americans now. Americans are rich. Their economy is great. Sure, you understand? It doesn't mean that there are no poor people or suffering people in America. You get me? But anyway, their economy is fine. But America will say they are spending $70 billion, $100 billion on foreign this or that. It may be war or this. And some people will be like, instead of using that money to take care of the homeless people in California, you see all those homeless people in America, all those abandoned areas in America, all those, like those in America. Why are you wasting money? Why are we wasting money? Why can't they invest this money? There are poor people in America that are this or that, but they have money. They do. At least the economy shows that they do. Even though people feels like Americans are living in a bubble. But fine. Nigeria doesn't have money. Everywhere Nigerian criminal leaders go, they are going there with capping, with plates in hands. When people are talking about potentials, they are just like these old slave traders that will say, listen, all these things you are talking about, we have them too. I mean, we can have them too. But we just want you to know that we don't have them yet because we are poor. Or if you are looking for people to do that work that you are saying, we have people, we have a big population. If you are looking for resources, raw materials that you need, come to us. We also have them. But give us something. We will take an whole body so that we can be sure that you want to come and help us. Please come and help us. But yeah, how much can you give us? Like, for example, we have too many poor people. Our people are very poor. Do you have money to help us sponsor malaria? Please. And those ones will be like, oh, damn it, man. All right. We plan to spend about 100 million euro abroad on charity anyway. So we'll give you 2 million euro to fight malaria in your country, in Nigeria. We'll say, breaking news. Nigeria government just signed a deal with the European healthcare body. They are ready to make an immediate investment of 2 million euro. And they are also bringing extra 2 billion euro in a space of 3 years. They are also going to train. They have their own jarao. So there are people back home will be like, thank God, Europe is coming to come and invest 2 billion. No. Na Bambiala, they go to Bambiala. So those ones will just be like, well, go to Africa if you can take the risk and see what you can get from there. We'll give you the consular backing and support. If you want to take pictures with their leaders, just make sure that you go with your checkbook. Checkbook for what? Oh, they are always begging. They are always begging. It is in their nature. Really? Yeah. When you get there, you will see a minister start complaining about how life is tough, how he's struggling, how everything is hard for him. He's trying to ask you to give him money, even though you came there to talk development. This is who they are. Just go there. Just go with your checkbook. All right. Okay. And then that's it. Free pass. That is the kind of leaders that you have. They are unproductive, always begging for money. They are looking for people to even cancel their debts. Now, you want to send somebody to go and talk to the world that will see you and just feel like, oh, when you will see, you hear news. You remember when, listen, this is not me trying to bring all of we'll be saying supporters and the critics. So I just want to use this as an example that is real. Do you all remember when Barack Obama was elected the American president? I just want to bring back that era, okay? Forget about the other things for now, please. You remember that? Even as a black